Gotta shut this lamp off behind me. But we are live on YouTube. It is officially 3 o'clock Eastern Time. My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jerry Bear. Today's date is Sunday, February 18th, 2024. Thank you so much for stopping by and indulging me for the next hour. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. I hope your week was great. Dad and Amy are out in the kitchen right now, so they're currently not within the frame of anything you can see on the live stream, but they are here. They are in the house. They are visiting with Amy's son via video chat. So I'm kind of flying solo this week, but not quite, unless they decide to come back in for any reason to let the dogs out or just to say, hey, peek into the camera frame. But we are here. We are live. Welcome. So some things to talk about this week. Uh, I don't know. There's seems to be a lot of distractions in the background here. Um, so one of the big things that happened to me this past week is my car took a shit. Um, I went uptown to what did I go uptown for? Oh, I went to Dollar General. See, I'm already forgetting. I went uptown to Dollar General to get some pop, I think. See, I don't remember the specifics of why I went to Dollar General. I just remember that I went to Dollar General. I noticed that there was smoke billowing up from under the hood of my car, and I figured, okay, I had the heater on. Maybe it's just the heat from the engine because it was, I had the heater on and it was cold outside. I didn't think anything else of it. So I go and get my stuff, come back out, and there's still heat rising from underneath the hood, and I'm thinking, well, maybe it's just cooling off. I don't know what's going on. I get heading back for home here. I'm heading west on M57 out of Chesnang. I look down at my temp gauge on my dash and it's in the red zone. It's overheating. It's all the way over to the H. And it's like, oh, fuck. So I come up to the nearest intersection, the next road out of town, which is Franchi Road. I call Dad, which he's in the camera frame now. You might not be able to see it, maybe his shadow. There you go. You see him. There you go. But anyway, I pulled off on the Franchi Road. I called Dad, told him what was going on. I waited on the side of Franchi Road until he showed up with my brother. Had to get towed home. As it turns out, the water pump went out. Um, Dad had Dad had popped the hood. He had taken a look. Don't start, you guys. Please don't start. This is the third week in a row I've had to get interrupted by your barking. But anyway, Dad popped the hood. He said it was a water pump. He had taken a look. And he said, "Well, that's not hard to fix. That's not a hard fix." So what I have to do is, as soon as I get my hands on a little extra cash, I'm gonna have to go and buy a water pump, get that replaced. Which Dad says it's not a hard job, um, but I will take a look. I'll be out there watching him as he's swapping out the old one with the new one, just to see what just exactly what he's talking about. Because I'm not a mechanic by any means necessary. I am not a mechanic, and that might be a fault for me because my dad was a mechanic for many, many years when I was a kid. And he and my Uncle Rick actually used to teach mechanics classes. But I never learned. I never learned how to work under the hood of a car. But it would be interesting just to see how everything works out. And of course, it'd always be nice to give him an extra hand if he needs an extra hand or whatever. Um, but yeah, it's the water pump, and I can't go anywhere. I can't drive it until I get it fixed. But here's the thing: I'm currently strapped for cash, so even if I had to go and get the water pump, I couldn't drive the car because I don't have any money for gas to go and get it, and I don't have any money to get it. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of stuck here at home until Dad decides to go away, go uptown for whatever. Um, and speaking of going away, something Dad had to go to Saginaw yesterday, and I had ridden with Dad to Saginaw because he had to go to his doctor's office to pick up a prescription. And we come up to the intersection of Holland and Genesee, which, for those of you who are familiar, that's like ghetto of Saginaw. And there was a person standing on the street corner panhandling for change. He had a little styrofoam cup and he's yelling at the cars. And well, he started to approach the truck, and Dad's just like, don't bother, he's just fanning him away. And then the guy says, "Well, I was wondering if you could spare some change." And Dad rolled down the window and he says, "I was about to ask you the same thing, brother." And I put my hands over my eyes. Oh, fuck. He didn't just say that, did he? And the guy who was holding the cup, he says, all right, man, right on." And I'm thinking, dude, he just insulted you. And I don't know. I don't know. It was, I'm thinking to myself, Dad, you are one brave motherfucker to be saying something, because it's the ghetto, it's the city. I wouldn't dare interact with someone because I don't know what their intentions are. And I'm not trying to get caught up in some bullshit that I can't get myself out of. But it's like, Dad, you are brave. You are brave for doing that. And he says, "Nah, I worked in this town for years. I know how to deal with people like that." And it's like, well, more power to you, man. But I couldn't believe you said that. Like, man, I was about to ask you the same thing, man. It's like, wow. Um, and we came back through the intersection, that same intersection, Holland and Genesee, and because we were on our way home. Well, how we were pulled up to the intersection, he was actually on my side, and I wasn't going to make eye contact with him. I just was looking straight ahead. I could see him at the corner of my eye. He was approaching the truck, and I told Dad, "He's coming towards me. He's like approaching my side, like he's going to try and ask me for money." I'm not paying any attention to this guy. And luckily, he made a sharp turn and started walking down the sidewalk. And I looked in the rearview mirror, and he's hitting up other cars, asking people for money. And it's like, wow, man, wow. It's just the nerve of these people. And, I try not to judge people in situations like that, because a lot of them may in fact legitimately be homeless, but the point of that is you can never tell. Um, it's very hard to, they say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but in that situation, you have to use some kind of judgment as to whether or not you actually want to contribute to, say, because if you give them money, what's not to say they're not going and buying drugs, or liquor? And what's not to say they don't have money in a bank somewhere? And it's money that they have accumulated from people who are, whose kindness is being preyed upon and giving them money. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't help people in times of need, but you have people like that out there where they will do anything to trick you into giving them money, even if it's, like a pity party. Oh, they give you a good sob story. Um, I'm not saying we shouldn't help people. It's just you have to be very careful and very selective. Like, say for example, I go sometimes when I'm in Saginaw, if I'm especially if I'm by myself, I'll stop at the McDonald's at the corner of Michigan and Gratiot, for those of you familiar with that McDonald's. And every once in a while, when I stop in there on occasion, there will be a homeless person, because there's a lot of homeless people. There's a homelessness crisis everywhere, but in this case, I'm talking about Saginaw, Michigan here. Um, there are some people who hang around curbside. They'll just sit, and there have been times when I would buy a hot meal for one of these people and say, "Here you go. Here's, a hot, a sandwich, a order of fries, maybe a soft drink or whatever." And they would say, "Oh man, you didn't have to do that." Well, I mean, I didn't have to do it, but I wanted to do it. I think the workers inside of that McDonald's, I think they get a little pissed, because they hang around there all the time, and they're like, "Well, we don't want them hanging around here, and you're just going to give them food." Well, they're homeless, they're hungry, they've got nothing. I don't mind buying a meal for someone, and furthermore, it's my fucking money. I'll do what I want with it. Who are you to tell me that I can't buy a meal for somebody else? So if you're going to refuse service to me because I'm buying a meal for another, then I'd like to talk to your manager, and I'll take it up with your manager. And then you'll be the next one sitting out here begging for food when you are out of a job, because of the way you treat customers, telling them who they can and can't buy for. Fuck that, and fuck you, you know? Um, but yeah, and situate I mean, like I said, you can't make a blanket statement because there are people out there who are truly legitimately without. They don't have homes, they don't have vehicles, they are in the streets. And then you get people who like to panhandle, not really knowing their situation. And it's like, well, I no, I'm sorry. I have to use my best judgment here. I'm not giving you money. If there's a way that I can help you, then I will go and get that help for you, but I'm not gonna just willfully hand money to you and then you can do whatever you want with it. No, it's one of those things. But it was so weird. It was so weird because my dad, being fearless as ever, rolls down the window and says, "Man, I was about to ask you this for the same thing, brother." And it's like, "Oh my god, dad, you're gonna get us fucking shot, dude." But we're not shot. We're still here. We're still alive. We're still kicking. Um, and the chat log is open if you'd like to come in and join in on the conversation. I don't see Melinda, but chewing off my toenail, as always, every week has comments. So this week, because this is hilarious shit. Chewing off my toenail, he is a regular and he's becoming a fan favorite in my chat logs. He says, "Today I stared off at the wall and did some soul searching. That's before I found out that I've always had sole, SOLE, in my shoes. After tapping my foot, I decided to lift it up to my face, chew off that wonderful toenail, and spit it at the curtain." Um, and then chewing off my toenail asks, "Do you believe in me?" Well, I, okay, I believe in you, toenail, of course. Silly man or woman, whoever it is behind that. Um, silly person. Thank you as always, chewing off my toenail, for the funny comments. Uh, fixing up my hair. Nobody gives a shit how I look. But that's always the chewing off my toenail, whoever that is. Thank you for the weekly laughs. I really enjoyed them, and I look forward to them next week as well if I decide to come back. Melinda Pullian is not in my chat this week. She usually comes in and jumps in on the conversation. I'll have to message her and find out where she is, make sure she's okay. Because she usually comes into my chat logs and, we have a conversation and she'll stop in and say hi. Um, let's see here. Come on, phone. Little magic light box. Um, okay. Because I have Melinda on my Facebook here. I'm live on YouTube. Put laugh emojis. We'll see if she sees it. If not, that's okay. That's all right. Um, but yeah, so that's been the some things that have been happening in my life lately. Other than that, not really a lot. Not really a lot to talk about. It's been kind of a laid back week. Valentine's Day was this past week. I guess I'll talk about Valentine's Day because I know that it does leave people jaded on love. Because there's and listen, I've got people, friends on my Facebook who are not only single but they are lonely. And then there's me. I'm single and happy. And I think it's all a matter of perspective because you get people who are, they're just single and sad and lonely and despondent. And then there are people who brag about their relationships. And I'm not dropping names, but there are lots of people who do this. They brag about their relationships on social media. They put their sugar daddies on pedestals and oh, this is what love is. Let me tell you how amazing my man is. It's just a bunch of bullshit, guys. I'm sorry. The fact that you're in love with somebody, okay, cool. I'm not bitter about that. I'm not bitter at all. I'm glad that you found someone and you're happy with someone. Great for you. But why do you feel that I need to know how amazing your man is? Why do I need to know that? Your love life, your relationship should not be on social media. The last girl I dated, which by the way, she's moved on and found somebody else already, didn't take her long. This is like her maybe her 16th, 17th boyfriend in the past year, um, with me included. So I was in a relationship. The past relationship that I was in lasted for only 15 days, and I told her I want out of this relationship. I don't want to be with you in that way anymore. I'm more than happy to be your friend, which not a problem. I'll be your friend, but as far as a relationship is concerned, no, I don't want a relationship anymore. I want out of this. She, of course it hurt her, and it wasn't my intention to hurt her, but sometimes you have to do, you do things for yourself, for your own sanity and for your own health, and it may result in hurting someone else, and it's not why I did it. I didn't want to hurt her. I knew it was going to hurt her, but that wasn't my intention. That wasn't my goal. It's never my goal to hurt people. Despite what you might see and read on my YouTube channel here, but it's never my intention to hurt or harm anyone. But the relationship needed to end for my sake because I wasn't happy, and I didn't want to string her along thinking that I was happy with her when I wasn't. And I had to be honest with her. It's like, look, I don't want to be in this relationship. I'm not happy. You're not mature enough to be in a relationship with me. You act very immature for your age. I don't want somebody like that. I don't need someone, not to mention she's got some legal issues going on. And it's like, I don't want to be dragged into this. The fact that I had lost my mother in October and she's telling me that her mom is dead to her, uh, although she meant it in a figurative way, it still upset me when she said it, knowing that my mom is actually gone and she just died and the wounds are still fresh. And it's like, how can you be so fucking inconsiderate of my feelings? We're supposed to be in this relationship together. And the things that you say and do not only are immature and childish, but they piss me off. And I wasn't happy, so I dumped her. Okay. But I she's moved on to another guy. She can be somebody else's problem now. But here's the thing about Valentine's Day. There were a lot of people bragging about their sugar daddies and, "Oh, I wanna tell you about this amazing woman I'm married to." Look, I don't give a fuck. It's none of my business. Okay, I'm happy for you that you're in a relationship with someone. I'm happy that you found somebody. As a friend, I support you, but I don't need to know how amazing your partner is. That is irrelevant to me in my life. What does that add to my life? It adds nothing to my life. So you got lucky and someone was they were desperate. I mean, cool. I don't care. Um I'm happy for people's happiness as far as that goes. Like, okay, you're with somebody, that's great. But when you start bragging about them like they're a new car or a piece of furniture, that's when I become disinterested in your quest for happiness. I don't care. And this ex-girlfriend of mine, she wanted to pull that crap. She says, "Well, do you have any pictures? Like any recent pictures?" I said, "Well, all my pictures are on my Facebook. Anything I post because my the pictures of me are set to friends." But I told her, I said, "Any pictures you see on Facebook on my profile are the pictures you're going to get. I'm not taking any special pictures, just so you can show me off." And she's like, "Well, I want to show you off a little bit." And I said, "No, no, you're not showing me off. The thing is, I don't want you comparing me with other men, and I don't want you comparing other men to me. The only man in your life should have been me. Why are you comparing me to other guys or using me as a tool to make other guys jealous? Don't be doing that shit. I'm not a piece of furniture. I'm not a luxury. I'm not a luxury. I'm a human being. Don't show me off." And I was just having this conversation, matter of fact, with a friend of mine who is um, from the childhood cancer world because she's in a relationship and she didn't, she doesn't brag about her relationships on social media, which I that's what I like. That's what I prefer. But and we had that conversation. I said, I just don't understand the relationship bragging on social media. If I'm in a relationship, I will update my relationship status as in a relationship with and leave it as that. That's all anybody needs to know. I'm not going to then take it further and brag about this woman I'm with, and I don't want her bragging about me. So, bachelorettes out there listening to this, if there's an off chance that you and I ever hook up, please don't brag about me on Facebook. Although I probably just shot down every chance possible because I don't want to be bragged about. I don't like that. I'm not better than anybody else. I'm just the same as anyone else, just like any other guy out there. I'm not I'm not better. I'm not a diamond in the rough, okay? I'm just like anybody else. And I don't like to be bragged about. Well, she didn't like that either. Well, tough shit. I don't want to be bragged about. I'm not a new car. I'm not a piece of furniture. I'm a human being. I don't want to be shown off. I'm not a luxury. But I saw a lot of that on Facebook on Valentine's Day, and a lot of my friends were despondent. They were upset about being single, and it's like, man, I'm gonna die alone. I'm gonna be alone forever. Well, y'all know my thoughts about dying alone. Um, Whether someone's with you or not, you're gonna die alone regardless. Um, you know, it doesn't prevent you from dying. It doesn't slow or ease. It might ease the death, but it's not going to slow the death. It's not going to prevent the death. You're going to die. We all are. Having someone with you or not with you is not going to make any bit of difference. Um, I don't know why that's another thing. People are whining, oh, I'm single. I'm going to die alone. Well, you're going to die alone anyway, even if you're with somebody. If someone's sitting next to you, you're dying alone. Um, I don't understand uh, a lot of things. It's just the despondency and these people were just down and out about Valentine's Day. I'm not bitter about Valentine's Day, but I really don't need to know the specifics of your relationship. I don't need to know how you think that your partner is amazing. That has no value to my life whatsoever. And I couldn't give a fuck less how amazing your partner is. That's a matter of opinion. Because I can guarantee you that there are several other couples out there who are essentially doing the same exact thing you are, bragging about how amazing their partners are. Well, y'all can't be amazing at the same time. There's got to be a title here. I understand it might be a contest in your view, but there's got to be a reigning champion of amazing men or amazing women. Who is it? There's 8 billion people on the fucking planet. Who could it be? Um, I That's why I'm single, because I don't understand any of that shit. So now, finally, at long last, Dad is joining me off camera. Amy was just in here and then she walked away again. They might not. Okay, you can see Dad waving. You can see his hand waving. You see that. You can turn that light on, Dad, if you want. That way, there we go. Shed the spotlight on Dad back there. There we go. How was your week, Dad? It was a week. Um, it was kind of stressful, but not like majorly stressful. Um, did you have a good Valentine's Day? um, Actually, finances kicked our ass this month. Money has been very tight, so we're just trying to find ways to stay amused and entertained, just to get through the month. So that way, yeah, I told him about that. I told him about it when we were in Saginaw yesterday. Um, I just can't believe you did that. But then again, yes, I can. I can believe you did that. I mean, it's pretty ballsy to roll down your window and say, "Man, I was about to ask you the same thing, brother." I didn't dare you. That's the thing. I didn't dare you. You took it upon yourself to roll down the fucking window and say, "Hey, man, I was about to ask you the same thing, brother." And he thought Dad was kidding. Um, it's it was interesting yesterday. Um, well, I've gone over all that. Um, yeah, I mean there are legitimate homeless people, but I'm not going to give cash. I'm not going to give cash. I think that was the point I was trying to make, but I just took a long way around to get to a simple point. Um, but it's amazing to me. These dogs, the minute I go live every fucking week, I go live, then suddenly they got to go outside. Then they start barking. Then they need attention. Then they start horsing around. It's like they know when I'm planning to do this. They know when I am planning to go live. I love my dogs, make no mistake about it, but they can be pains in my ass sometimes. Um, I swear they do that shit intentionally because they know I'm going live. They bark so that way the whole world can hear their bark. They know you exist. I mean, between Facebook and YouTube, I think everyone knows that I have dogs. They exist. They're real. But anyway, I don't know what this week's plans are. Tomorrow is Washington's birthday, so I don't think there's mail delivery tomorrow. I'd like to do some grocery shopping. Um, Figure out what we gotta have and get some odds and ends. Probably go up to Frank's, the most expensive store on the fucking planet. Um, but the thing is Frank's doesn't have competition. Now, see, if we still had IGA like we did back in the 80s and 90s, there would be a little competition and, it would maybe potentially balance things out. But Frank's is really the only actual supermarket in Chesaning, so they can make the price whatever they want. And that becomes a problem because they know that they know that we really don't want to go all the way to Owasso for a jar of jelly. We can just go to Frank's and get the jelly and be done. Because it's going to cost you more to go to Owasso. Oh, he left. See, he got up and walked away, and I didn't even see it. And I'm looking right at the screen. It's going to cost you more to go to Owasso than it is just to make a trip into town. Um, I don't know. They know. They know how to work that to their advantage. But yeah. So I've been uploading a series of videos. Matter of fact, I just messaged my friend Melinda, and she liked my comment in Messenger. I hate the fucking thumb in Messenger, you guys. That blue thumb that they put in Messenger. I absolutely despise the fucking blue thumb. Why do they put it in the fucking Messenger? Why is it there? I for one don't like it. The thing is, you don't normally, typically in the real world, you don't approach someone who's talking to you and stick a fucking thumb in their face. You don't do that. You just don't do that. You carry on a conversation. And it does get annoying when you're trying to talk to somebody and they just send a thumb. It's like, well, okay, fuck you too then. Um, but in this case, Melinda didn't actually send the blue thumb. She actually thumbed up my comment in Messenger. And I think in many ways that's how people's skills are destroyed when because of the social media shit. When you actually don't have to face people and you can say virtually anything you want when you don't have to face those people because you know better than to say the shit to their face and I mean it's really it's just that simple. um I was watching an interview. There's a guy named Theo Von. Most of you have heard of Theo Von. I'm not really familiar with Theo Von, but he had an interview with Billy Strings. Billy Strings is from Michigan, and I think it was like a 2-hour long interview with Theo Von. And wow, Billy was talking about his how he grew up in Muir, Michigan. He lived in Ionia. Um, Lyons. He was talking about Barkus Park and Lyons, Michigan. And it's like, wow, man, I'm familiar with all those areas. I've been to Muir. I've been to Ionia. I haven't been to Lyons. I don't think I've been to Lyons, but I've been to Muir and Ionia. I'm very familiar with those areas. It's out by Grand Rapids. It's just east of Grand Rapids. And I'm very familiar with those areas. I've traveled those areas quite often in my life. And it was just cool to hear him talk about small town Michigan, you know, because and as a matter of fact, he confirmed this because I mentioned how he lived in Traverse City, and I'm thinking I'm thinking he lived in Traverse City, but I'm not sure. He confirmed it in the interview. He confirmed it in the interview. Actually, he says, "Yeah, I was working at the Grand Traverse Bay Resort when I lived in Traverse City." It's like, okay, so he did live in Traverse City, and I think my buddy Dan Richards had mentioned how uh, he lived in Traverse City for a while there, but Billy Strings is he's selling out venues nationwide. I'm proud of the kid. He was born in Lansing, and he's really super talented. I mean, he can play a guitar like no one's business. He's really fast. The chord changes and the strumming, and he is just phenomenal on a guitar. Um, I had introduced one of my pediatric oncology friends to Billy Strings, and she's like, "Wow, that boy can play." I said, "Yeah, yeah," and he's from Michigan. He is a Michigan phenom, in my view. Um, Michigan turns out all kinds of awesome talent. I mean, we have, we gave you Stevie Wonder, Ted Nugent, Madonna, Motown. The Motown sound came from Detroit, naturally. Michael Jackson's from Gary, Indiana. Um, but Greta Van Fleet, Billy Strings. I mean, just a lot of no, they're not from here. Bay City Rollers are not from here. No, 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 no. The story, how they got that name, is there was a map on the wall, and they were trying to decide a name for their band. So what they did was they had a map on a wall, and they threw a dart at the wall, and the dart landed on Bay City, and that's how they got the name Bay City. And then the Rollers, I don't know where they got that, but when they threw the dart, it landed on Bay City, Michigan. So Bay City Rollers. No, they're not originally from here, but that's how they got the name. There is a connection, yes. Um, just like REO Speedwagon. There's a Michigan connection with REO Speedwagon because the REO stands for Ransom Eli Olds, and the Oldsmobile company was in Lansing. They produced over 14, I think, billion Oldsmobiles. Million or billion? I can't remember. I have to look it up. Google, Google, here I come. I think it was million. I think they produced 14 million cars. But REO Speedwagon, the acronym REO, is it comes from that. Oldsmobile, okay. Yep, the founder, Ransom Eli Olds, headquarters, Lansing, Michigan. Oldsmobile was a brand of American automobiles produced for most of its, produced for most of its existence by General Motors. Originally established as Olds Motor Vehicle Company by Ransom Eli Olds in 1897, it produced over 35 million vehicles, including at least 14 million built in its Lansing, Michigan factory alone. Million. I knew it was 14 something, but I couldn't remember if it was million or billion. No, okay. 14 million cars were built in Lansing. 14 million Oldsmobile brand cars, Dad. Can you believe that? I think that's the Grand River assembly plant that they're talking about too. The General Motors Grand River assembly. But they went defunct on April 29th, 2004, 19 years ago. Well, it'd be 20 years on April 29th. But yeah, 14 million cars were built in Lansing. That's impressive. Um, but yeah, REO Speedwagon, Ransom Eli Olds. Did you know that Malcolm X lived in Lansing? Did you know that? I didn't know that for the longest time. Um, Actually, I didn't know that at all until I looked it up. And yeah, St. Joe Highway, which would be considered Malcolm X Boulevard, I think, in Lansing, was named after Malcolm X because he did live in Lansing for a short time. Which cool. Because I hear Malcolm X. Well, Malcolm X wasn't a singer. They do have streets named after. Yeah, especially in Detroit. They they've got like Martha Reeves and the Vandellas Boulevard, or the Temptations Boulevard, or the Four Tops Avenue, or some shit like that. Martin Luther King is not he wasn't a singer. You're mix mashing. ML King, that's popular everywhere. Lansing has an ML King Boulevard. Flint has an ML King Boulevard. I imagine Detroit does somewhere. I mean, Detroit's big enough. What's that? Airports. What are you talking about? Where? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But like Gerald R. Ford International Airport, that's in Grand Rapids, named after President Ford, obviously. But yeah, there are Michigan is known for lots of just we breed a lot of talent here. It's amazing all of the talent. Like Leah Williams, she's a Nashville recording artist. She has co-written some music with a songwriter named Bernie Nelson, and he is just an amazing. He's just a gifted and talented songwriter. Um, the song "Daddy Never Was a Cadillac Kind" by Confederate Railroad, Bernie Nelson had co-written that with Dave Gibson back in the '90s, and I remember Confederate Railroad. Excuse me. Yeah. So, but Bernie Nelson's not from Michigan. I don't think. I don't think he is. See, now I have to Google. Oh, now see, the dogs want in. Of course they do. Oh, someone died. Rita McKenzie, star of Ethel Merman's Broadway, dies at 76. Wow. Um, yes, guys, the dogs want in. Yes, I know. You do this every fucking week when I get doing my Sunday video. Bernie Nelson. Okay. He is from. I think he's from Texas. Bernie Nelson. Hometown. Okay, there's an actual website. Will you guys wait? For crying out loud. See if. Yeah, he co-wrote for Chris Ledoux, Garth Brooks. Yeah, they want in. They always seem to know when I'm right here. I don't know where he's from. Bernie achieved million airplay status on his number one hit, Daddy Never Was a Cadillac Kind, with Confederate Railroad. Most recently, he's enjoyed success with cuts on Mark Will's Looking for America, Montgomery Gentry's Damn Baby, and Tracy Lawrence's The Ride, and Heaven for a While. Yeah, I mean, this guy is he's phenomenal. Bernie Nelson is one of a kind. Guy can write songs like no one's business. And there's Amy. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Jared fans.
So yeah, Bernie Nelson's not from Michigan. I think he's from Texas. But in any event, I mean, Leah Williams, she's from Michigan. I know her personally. Waylon Hannell, another talented Michigan kid. He's co-writing some music with Bernie Nelson, and Brett Whisker with Chi-Town, and I met a kid named Michael Root. He is really talented. Lots of just talented people from Michigan. Billy Strings, though, to get back to Billy Strings, that kid can play guitar like no one's business. He is just a phenomenal guitar player. Um, it would really be something to actually drive through Muir, which it would never happen. At least I don't think. But say if I ever went out on a joyride, drive through Muir and actually see him or his family, that would be the shit. That would just be cool. That'd be the coolest thing ever. But it wouldn't happen because Billy's traveling the world abroad. So, um, that kid can play. But see, the thing is, I'm not a fanboy. I'm not a fanboy of Billy Strings. I just enjoy his music, and I'm very impressed with his ability to play a guitar. I mean, that kid can play. You guys got to check him out. Um, and speaking of music, and speaking of Dan Richards, tonight is the Sunday flashback on 103.9 The Fox with Dan Richards, hence the name, the Fox Sunday Flashback with Dan Richards. I'm going to drop a link in the chat so that way you guys can listen tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Listen to the Fox Sunday Flashback with Dan Richards. Okay. That link is in the chat now. So make sure you listen to the Fox Sunday Flashback tonight at 7 o'clock. Dan plays a lot of excellent songs. Like right now, I can see some of the music they played already. It's not flashback, but "Hey Hey, What Can I Do" by Led Zeppelin. Mr. Brownstone by Guns N' Roses. I don't know if I've ever heard those. Black by Pearl Jam. I don't think I've heard that. Just more music to download and add to my collection. For those of you who are not familiar, I have a massive music collection on a flash drive, 256 gigabyte USB flash drive. I talk about this quite a bit on my Facebook. And I'm officially over the 7,000 song mark. And by the looks of things, I'm going to be adding more songs probably after I wrap this up at 4 o'clock, which is in about 20 minutes. That hour goes by so fast. Actually, less than 20 minutes, about 15 minutes. That hour goes by so fast. Yeah, I'm going to add some more music to my collection. I got my little 256 gigabyte USB flash drive right here. Over 7,000 songs on this little chip, on this little card. And I've got plenty of drive space left on it. And it's just amazing how much I can store on this thing. Walmart had these flash drives hanging up in the electronics department. But when I was there the other day, all they had was like, what? They had 512 gig and 128 gig. But this is 256. It should hold quite a bit of music, especially knowing that I'm using it specifically for music. I'm not using it for videos or files or anything else, just music. Well, I mean, with the exception, like I've got templates, like WordPad templates. When I set the computer to shuffle mode, and I'll fill in, the songs that the computer selected at random, and then I'll copy and paste that to my Facebook just to show my friends, hey, this is what my music collection consists of, and it's always ever changing. I'm always adding music to it. I was playing music, matter of fact, before I went live today, and I do that to kind of pass the time before I go live. But this, I'm just amazed that this little chip can hold quite a bit, and there's already over 7,000 songs, 7,036 songs to be exact, and counting, because I'm not done. I have a lot more to add, apparently. Um, but yeah, I had to special order this little chip because at the time Walmart didn't have it. I paid, I think, $40 for this, and it's the best $40 I've ever spent because holy mackerel. I mean, you can ask dad, Amy, my brother, you can ask them. I've I've got the music. I've got all kinds of songs. Um, and it's kinda cool. It's kinda nifty when they request a song. They wanna hear a song and, "Do you got this song? Well, let me look," and I'll scroll through my library, and it's like, "Yes, I do. I do have that song. Can you play it?" "Well, sure. Of course I can play it." Um, I've got all the music. Matter of fact, I just learned, about a technique called stem splitting with music, where you can, it's a program on the internet where you can, actually add the files, or you can add an MP3 song into the program, and it will divide each track that makes that song the completion of the song, but it'll divide the tracks by vocals, drums, guitar, bass, other, whatever. It will divide it, and then you can download the stem splits in the song, and then you can go and edit and do whatever. It's pretty cool. I have a I'm currently in the middle of a 3-week trial of RipX Pro, and then afterwards, they're gonna want me to pay for it, so that's why I'm trying to do as much as I can with the software before they force me into paying for it, which I really don't wanna pay for it. But that, they gotta make their money too, apparently. But it's really cool. I edited a song called "Seminole Wind" by John Anderson because I can't find the radio edit anywhere on the internet, and I mean nowhere. So I had to go through and do the editing, and now I've got an edited version of that song, in my collection. So I've got 7,036 songs, and the collection just builds and builds and builds, and I'm very impressed with my collection. I love my collection. I got country, rock and roll, I got some rap, I have pop, Motown, R&B. I don't have any reggae. I have to put some, Bob Marley into my collection because I have none by Bob Marley. I've got, the Runaway Hamsters, I've got Billy Strings, I just added some music by Korn, I gotta add some Nine Inch Nails, probably some more Slipknot if I, haven't got all the songs. Um, there's just so much more music I gotta add. Um, but I am really looking forward, and that's part the reason why I listen to the Fox Sunday Flashback because Dan can play a song that I have never heard in my life, and it's like, "Well, that's different," you know? Think I'll add that. So, if I don't have it, I'll get it, and I'll add it to my collection. AC/DC, I've noticed AC/DC is hard to, obtain the MP3 versions of the songs from YouTube. For some reason, it just because there's software on the internet where you can actually download music, the audio file from YouTube and make it, save it as an MP3 on the desktop. And for some reason, AC/DC is probably the more difficult, music to obtain. I don't know why. Um, and as far as Garth Brooks, you can't find any Garth Brooks on YouTube. And if you're able to muster any Garth Brooks tunes from YouTube, um, those people who upload those songs, they are sliding under the radar somehow, because you won't find Garth Brooks at all on YouTube, which I think is kinda shitty, considering that you can find most everybody else's music on YouTube. And Garth Brooks, as much as I love Garth Brooks, I grew up listening to his music, he wants it all for himself. He's greedy in that respect, in that regard. But his music is great. I love his music, but he's just greedy when it comes to people obtaining his music. Um, it's whatever. I still have Garth Brooks music. There's other ways of actually getting music, not just YouTube. Um, but in any event, yeah, I've just been stockpiling on this collection, and the thing is, Dad has a sound system we got a sound system some time ago. We had driven to Bay City. We found it's a like a karaoke setup, but I don't think we're going to be doing much karaoke. Um, PV speakers, wireless mics, a big ass subwoofer, and PV speakers are not cheap, by the way. Um, a big subwoofer, um, a lot of equipment, and I still have yet to figure out how it all goes together. We have there's a laptop in my bedroom. A matter of fact, I might even just get a new laptop specifically for the music. I got my DMX lighting set up, and I actually want to add some more lighting fixtures to my setup. Um, but yeah, we've got the equipment, we've got the setup. It's just figuring out how it all goes together, and that's partly the reason why I'm going through and doing the due diligence of adding all this music to this flash drive because all I gotta do is plug it in and go. No ripping involved, no ripping required. Um, but it's been a lot of fun adding all this music. I have a lot of songs, a lot of music. I've got special edits of songs, extended versions, edited versions. Um, I've probably got a lot of the versions of songs that are hard to find elsewhere, i.e., Seminole Wind, the edited version. Um, but yeah, I've just been really busy trying to modify my collection, and if there's a file that to me doesn't sound good, I'll replace it with a file that sounds better. Like if the quality is horrible, I'll throw that one out, replace it with a new one, and I use Audacity as my primary sound editing or audio editing software in my computer, and I make sure that the sound the audio clip starts right at the beginning of the song, and then I'll add the fade outs because in my media player, there's a 5-second overlap. So I make sure there's 5 seconds from the point at which the song fades to the end, like 5 seconds out. Because when that song fades, the next song will start playing automatically, and I don't have to do it manually. The computer will just go through and play the song, just like on the radio, um, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's really neat. So that's why I go through all the trouble of adding fades and all that stuff. I edit the songs so that way, because the songs that I have in my collection, all the music in my collection is meant specifically for playback. It's meant specifically for playback purposes. And there's a lot of people who they want copies of MP3s of my songs, and they're kind of disappointed that there's early fades on the songs. And it's like, well, because the music that I have in my collection is meant specifically for playback purposes. There's no point in letting a song fade out completely to wait for the next song because that fade out that song might be 7, 8 minutes long. And if I don't want to make my listeners sit through 7, 8 minutes worth of nothing, I'll just add the early fade and it'll just jump to the next song. So um, that's how I do it. And that's a lot of explaining, but that's how I do it. It keeps me busy. It gives me something to do. It keeps me focused on the things that I'm really excited about. Um, but anyway, we are down to about the last 5 minutes of the show. That hour goes by quick, guys, really quick. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull up 103.9 again, so that way I will know which songs to get. Okay. There we go. I'll leave that right there. That way, when I'm done here, I can get started on that, and I'll probably go watch Matt Dillahunty on the line. Which you know what? I'll share a link to their I'll share a link to their live stream because I like watching Matt Dillahunty. He's got a full scruff thing going on there. It's Matt Dillahunty and Katie Montgomery this week on the line. Um, let me see here. Okay, so I'm going to share a link to their live stream just to be a nice guy because I know there's people over there who appreciate it. Watch the Sunday show. If you're an atheist, this will be the show for you. Um, let me redo that again. Blind. Well, I hope they don't get mad at me for promoting their channel or their live stream, but and I don't want to detract anyone from watching my show, but I've got like 5 minutes left, so it's no big deal. I'll play it out regardless if anybody's here to watch it or not, or irrespective if they jump over to that live stream. I'll let them know in that chat. Hello, everyone. I shared a link to this live stream and my live stream. Well, I don't know if I should tell them that. I'll just say, hello, everyone. And I'll like their live stream for their YouTube algorithm. But yes, it's Matt Dillahunty and Katie Montgomery this week. Oh, someone said, hey there to me in chat, Kalasia789. I'll let her know. I'm currently live on my own channel, but shared a link to this live stream, if that's okay. Oh, I gotta wait. And I hate it when they got that slow mode shit on there. I mean, I get it. It helps to moderate the bullshit that goes on that live stream over there because they get a lot of trolls. I don't do slow mode in my chat log. I just don't see a reason for it. Because there's not a lot of people there's not a lot of traffic that comes on my channel. So slow mode is never an option. People usually, like it shows right now that there's 3 people watching. I don't get thousands of people watching my channel because I don't even have 500 subscribers. But I don't have to worry about slow mode because I don't get a lot of traffic on my channel like they do because they're a larger channel. They have over 100,000 subscribers. And so slow mode is, it would probably be essential for a larger channel. So that way, the moderators can keep up with the chat. And if anyone's being disrespectful or just irritating or spamming, then they can do away with them accordingly. But yeah, that's probably what I'll be watching next after I wrap this up. I'm going to go add some more music to my collection. The rest of the week, I'm not sure. I think I'm going to be going shopping tomorrow, grocery shopping, or maybe just picking up some odds and ends for the house. But for the rest of the week, I don't know what's in store for the rest of the week. Next week, after, let's see, it'd be next Friday, not this Friday, but the Friday after, I gotta go pay bills for the month of March. So I don't know what I'm doing this week, but next week for sure, at the end of next week, I will be paying bills. Because, bills are due, gotta be paid. And next month will actually be a lot better, financial wise because, we'll have more money to work with here. There we go. So Kalasia789, I'm currently live on my own channel, but shared a link to this live stream if that's okay. I sure hope I don't get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. If anyone from the line is what was currently watching my live stream, I hope I'm not going to get in trouble with anybody over there. I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to be helpful. But anyway, guys, it is 4:00, or at least down to the minute. My name is Jared Fuller. I'm so glad that you could join me this week. I'll be back next week for another installment of the Sunday video update. Dad, any final words to say before we go?
Bye.
Dad says bye. Amy would probably tell you to peace out if she was in here. Peace out is better than piss off, I guess. What's that? She says, peace out and be safe. And as I pointed out, I think peace out is better than piss off. But anyway, guys, it is 4:00. We're out of here. I'm gonna go watch Matt Dillahunty. Okay, Kalasia says no problem. Well, I certainly hope there's not a problem. I want to help the channel grow. But help my channel grow too, damn it. I don't even have 500 subscribers yet. But anyway, I love y'all very much. You have a wonderful week, and we will definitely try to do the same. I don't know what this week has in store, but whatever happens, I hope it's for the best. And I hope it's for the best for you as well. So much love, take care, and I'll see you next week, guys. Have a good one.